Hey, what's up, everybody? I am about to set up Nittany Vagrant for one of my new development websites I'm working on. I have one main Nittany Vagrant installation that I have about 8 sites on right now. And what I want to start doing is breaking those out into each having their own virtual server. So it makes it easy to develop whenever you're developing a bunch of different websites. It makes it easy just to have them on one server, but they're starting to run into each other, getting different versions of, Ruby and all sorts of different stuff going on. So I'm going to try to split them out into their own development server and see if that helps. So I'm working on a new website. It's called Collaborations, and I need to set up a new virtual environment for it. So I'm going to go over to GitHub/PSUDoug/Nittany Vagrant, and I'm going to copy the URL, head over here to all my websites, and I will git clone that, but I am not going to git clone it into its regular directory because that already exists. So I'm going to put it in collaborations, and just like that, pretty easy, I now have cloned the Nittany Vagrant repo and put it in collaborations. So typically what you would do is just do a Vagrant up, right? That's what the installations instructions say. But what we need to do is we need to change the IP address as well as the URL to where that's pointing, because we have a couple different Nittany Vagrant installations. So if that's your setup, then I would recommend doing it like this. I am going to open up the Vagrant file, and I'm going to come down to host name first, and let's change that to we'll change it to collaborations.amp.dev. So it could pretty much be any URL that you want. I usually have the naming convention is generally the name of the a project name for the website, and then amp.dev, so that I know that this is my local development environment. And I'm going to change the IP because this also already exists, and so I'm going to get some conflicts, and I'm going to change this to 64. So it can really be any number. Just make sure that that IP doesn't exist locally. So we'll go ahead and save that and exit out of that. So what I also need to do, actually, before I completely navigate away from that, let me copy that, and I'm going to copy that as well. Because now what we need to do is open up our host file. I'm going to go way at the bottom, and I am going to put a new URL down here. I'm going to say this is part of collaborations, and the first thing is going to be that, and the second thing is going to be collaborations. So I'll save that and exit. Now, okay, everything should be good to go. Now we can do a Vagrant up, and that should start importing everything, start setting everything up the way that we want. Cool. So while it's doing its thing, I'm going to go ahead and pause this and come back. All right, and we're back. So that just finished up. It looks like everything's good to go. So let's SSH into this Vagrant box and check it out. All right, so the first thing that it's going to start doing is it's going to start asking me some questions. So would you like to set up SSH keys? Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. We'll enter the email that we want, and we'll just leave everything at default here since this is just our local development environment. So cool, it just created our SSH key. Would you like to install Drupal? Yes, let's go ahead and do that. So it's going to give us a couple different options. We can just create a blank one. We can create one that was based on a publicized profile that some folks at Penn State did. You can choose to point it at a public repo or try to pull it in from another server. Since this is just the development environment, we just need a vanilla Drupal install. So we're going to say number 1. So it's going to run through and just do a standard installation for us. It's going to set up the Nittany database, and it's going to install it for us. So it just installed a vanilla Drupal site called Nittany. Now it's asking me if I would like to install the list of recommended modules. I'm going to say no. If you're new to Drupal, you would probably want to hit yes and get some of those recommended modules. But let's just hit no for now. Search SEO. I'm going to say no. Do I want a WYSIWYG? At some point, but not right now. Would you like to start putting this in version control? I'll handle that. And so I'm going to hit no. And reports, no. Would you like it to be automatically backed up? No. All right, so like I said, just vanilla Drupal install here. So the one thing to notice that it's going to, by default, point you at that nittany.psu.doug. Remember, we changed that, so that's not going to be where it's located at. It's going to be located at, where did we put it? Collaborations. So we'll do http collaborations.amp.dev. And there we have our Drupal install. The username and password is just admin. There you go. And everything is set up, and we can start putting in some of our info here. Cool. So now we're ready to go. So that was installing Nittany Vagrant for a single site.